Welcome. This is Jane Gardner, and welcome to Solopreneur Success Strategies. Today is Mindset Monday, and we're continuing on in our review of the traits of the mindset of the entrepreneur. We've talked about your positive attitude, we've talked about passion, and we talked a lot about action taking. So we're on to the next one. So let's have a review of all of the traits of the mindset of the entrepreneur. There is positive attitude. I think we had 3 shows on that and how to keep your positive attitude. Passion, very simple, very easy one to do. Action taker, we had 5 episodes on action taking and some of the things that stop you from taking action. And today we're going to be talking about embracing the change. And then there's determination, persistence, and relentlessness. The willingness to take failure as feedback. Knowing your big why or the big picture of why you're an entrepreneur, and having the patience, but being an action taker, that is very important as an entrepreneur, and to be willing to learn and willing to listen and share your values and your ideas with others. So today we're going to be talking about action taking. And before that, we'll say who I am. I'm Jane Gardner, and I work with my husband for the last 20 years in our structural engineering firm, and still do, in Western Canada. And I went onto the internet about 3 years ago to help others start their business and be challenged by being an entrepreneur. So today we're going to be talking about embracing the change. The mindset of the entrepreneur, they have to be willing to embrace change. Imperfect action is always better than no action. So you have to be willing to move, willing to be able to move forward in your business, as we talked about previously. So you have to be willing to embrace change. You have to embrace new chapters in your life because you never know what's coming around the corner. So life is full of changes, it's full of opportunities, and you have to be willing to be flexible and willing to be able to change so that you can take up on those opportunities. So it's so easy to lose your composure. It's easy to give up because you feel like you've lost control of your life when it's uncertain. But the good news is that you can approach these life events with positive techniques that keep you from feeling intimidated by them. Because you're an entrepreneur and you never know what's going to be happening the next day in terms of your business, you always have to have certain systems in order so that you know that at least you will be able to know what your finances are and your procedures are for any new changes to your life. So if you are worried about not being able to move forward with your business, you can follow these strategies to not only deal with, but also embrace these new chapters in your life as you move forward. You can have an open mind, which means being flexible. And when someone is talking to you about an opportunity, you just think, okay, that might be interesting. Never be inflexible in your mind. You can embrace the idea that this new event might bring all sorts of positive spins on existing situations. For example, I am doing something new for myself that I hadn't thought I would be doing in my business. And it is very interesting because I had a business plan last year that was a lot different from this year. And I seem to be flexing off into different directions, keeping focused on one thing, of course, but I'm willing to see what happens and willing to embrace the change. So you have to exercise courage and be brave, not worry about what's around the corner. Fear can keep you from achieving what you want, even when you're not feeling courageous. Tell yourself you're brave. Especially when it comes to public speaking, one of the worst fears there is for most people. For those of you who don't have that fear, well, you're lucky people because most of us that's our number one fear, is the fear of public speaking. So you have to be brave. You have to ask yourself, yes, is this important to my business? And so I better start learning how to speak in public. So walking into a situation while repeating the words, I have what it takes to conquer this. I like that. I have what it takes to conquer this. So whenever you're feeling uncertain and wondering, questioning whether or not this is actually an opportunity that might work for you, you can just say that I have what it takes to conquer this, as we all do. Take one step at a time. Break it down into its smallest parts. It's a lot easier to take smaller bites and even savor the taste of newness for this opportunity. Be guided by past mistakes. Nobody you know has more experience in your life than you do, which is an obvious statement. You know your strengths and abilities, and you also know where you went wrong before. So those lessons should be the tools you take into your life's new chapter. Use them as much as possible to help guide you through the unknown. Be honest. Be honest about feeling intimidated by the new change. People respect honesty. If you're uncertain about whether or not you're capable, just be honest and people will respect you, rather than lying and saying you can do it and then you fail. New chapters don't have to be scary at all. Give yourself the chance to experience fulfillment. Use these strategies to embrace new chapters like you already know the outcome. That's awesome. So if you're always positive, as we mentioned before, you have the passion, and you're willing to be an action taker, and you're willing to embrace change, then these are some of the traits of the mindset of an entrepreneur. Embrace the change rather than being afraid of the change. So I hope that gives you a few strategies about how to embrace change. Be flexible, be honest about your imperfections, and be willing to take small steps, etc. So let's go on next week to the next one. But for now, that was embracing the change is the mindset of the entrepreneur. You can develop your success mindset at http://backslash backslash jgtips.com/SMINDSET, which is S Mindset. And you can subscribe to my Solopreneur Success Strategy channel at http://jgtips.com/YouTube, where all the previous episodes are accumulating. So thank you for listening. And this is Jane Gardner. This is your early morning wake-up call. Remember to embrace the change, not be frightened of it. Be honest with yourself about your abilities, and respect yourself for knowing that you do have the abilities, that you don't have to be afraid, and that you can go off into the unknown and go off in a direction where there's opportunities and try it and see how it goes. So that is one of the mindsets, traits of an entrepreneur, and I hope that either you will learn how to do that, embracing the change and moving forward, or just go ahead and find some training on how to embrace the change and be optimistic about the future. This is Jane Gardner, and see you next week.